So, today we're diving into a story about a musician who's caught right in the middle of a massive controversy. I mean, he's being accused of being a terrorist. His critics say he's nothing more than a propagandist for a cartel, but his own music seems to tell a totally different story. So what's really going on here? Let's get into it.
One of our sources comes right out of the gate with this, just a staggering claim. It says, quote, El Makabelico is a terrorist. I mean, wow. That's not a subtle hint, right? It's a direct, serious accusation that really sets the stakes for everything we're about to look at.
And that, right there, is the heart of the conflict. One perspective paints him as a mouthpiece, a propagandist for the Cartel Del Noreste. But then you have his art, his music, which tells a story that feels a world away from that. So, which is it? Let's start unpacking this by looking at the official claims against.
Okay, first up, the accusation. Let's really look at what he's being accused of.
And these aren't vague claims either. They are incredibly specific and, frankly, really severe. He's being directly tied to the Cartel Del Noreste, which the source itself calls a terrorist group. He's labeled a criminal and a terrorist himself, and for our purposes, this is the big one. His music is written off as being nothing but propaganda for that very cartel.
And just to make sure there's absolutely no room for interpretation, the source states, and I'm quoting here, "I do not condone his behavior, his lyrics, his message." That is a total, unambiguous rejection of everything about the man, not just his alleged actions, but his art itself.
Okay, so that's a pretty heavy accusation, right? It really makes you wonder, if his music is supposed to be this dangerous propaganda, what does it actually sound like? What is he saying in his songs? Let's shift gears and dive into the art itself to find out.
So let's actually look at the art. We're going to focus on one track in particular, Patrullando Voy, which translates to I go patrolling. And it's important because it gives us this first-person narrative that seems to fly right in the face of the accusations we just heard.
And right from the jump, he basically throws down the gauntlet with this one key lyric. Te hablarán de mí, pero no saben quién soy. What that means is, they will talk about me, but they don't know who I am. He's telling you, the listener, right up front, hey, you're going to hear things about me, but this is my story.
He tells this story through a character, a persona he calls Listazo. The entire song is this personal account of what life is like on the streets, his struggles, how he sees the world. So what does this character, this Listazo, actually have to say for himself? Okay, let's get into it. Section 3, inside the lyrics. What are the major themes that El Makabelico, as this character Listazo, is really exploring in the song?
So when you break it down like this, you start to see a really complex picture emerge. You've got him talking about mortality, the idea that one day death will surprise me. He claims to be humble, but then, on the flip side, he's incredibly defiant toward the government, and he comes right out and says, I like danger. See? He's building this character with a lot of different, almost contradictory layers, not just some simple one-dimensional villain.
All right, section 4. This is where we bring it all together and get back to that core question. Are we looking at propaganda, or are we looking at a personal story?
And this really lays it all out, doesn't it? Look at this, side by side. On the left, you've got the accusation, terrorist, criminal, propagandist. And on the right, you have the persona he builds in his own lyrics, a survivor, someone humble, defiant. It's like these two identities just can't exist in the same person. They seem completely irreconcilable.
So what we've really seen here are two portraits of the same person that they can't both be true at the same time. The point here isn't to say one is right and one is wrong. It's to show you this incredibly stark and powerful clash between an accusation from the outside and how an artist chooses to portray himself.
And all of this leaves us with this huge question, one that goes way beyond just this one artist. In a world filled with conflict and crime, when an artist makes art about that reality, where does the personal story end and the propaganda begin?